Derice, there is an Easter egg. The first ever Easter egg in Call of Duty history is on Derice. It is the fly trap. Super unpopular opinion. Like, I like Mob of the Dead, but I hate playing it. Honestly, the only way to fix Zetsubou is just remove it. That's the one zombies map that just shouldn't exist. Like, just delete it. Like, that one can't be fixed. All right, and welcome back, guys. And today we are doing another reaction video, and this one's going to be pretty freaking interesting. This video is actually by Chrrism, I think is how you pronounce it. He was kind enough to let us react to this video on his channel, and you guys definitely should go out there before we even start reacting to this. Go and sub to his channel like we have here. Turn those bell notifications on, because I guarantee you by the end of the year, this man's going to be at 100K subs, and that way you'll be able to say, yo, I was here before 100K. But we're going to be reacting to one thing I hate about every COD Zombies map, and we're gonna see his opinions on this and kind of give my opinions, because I think there's probably one thing that I hate about every map. Even Call of the Dead, my favorite map ever, there's things that I would change on that. So with that, let's roll right to the VOD.
Every zombies map that has ever existed has positives and negatives. Sometimes those negatives are so bad that it makes the map completely unplayable. Today we're going to be looking at the very worst aspect of every single map. Yes, this video might feel a little bit nitpicky, but that's the point. At the end of the day, it's all in good fun.
Yo, man, got the ray gun.
The major flaw with Noctur and Toten is that the spawn rate on the early rounds is just way too slow. It takes way too long for me personally to actually work up the muster to get a game going on this map.
Yeah, okay, well, I agree with that, but the thing about Noctur and Toten is the spawn room is like 90% of the content on this map. This map's small to begin with. If the spawn was any quicker and the zombies came in, you would open up the entire map and you would just be kind of chilling on a high round really quickly, and you'd be like, well, that was knocked. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a big fan of fast maps that start out quick and allow you to do stuff. But I think part of Noctur and Toten and what makes it good is the slow spawn rate, because this is the introduction to zombies. And I think in World at War, for its time, the perfect slow start was kind of the best way they could have done it. If the zombies spawned in quicker and they weren't as paced out, I'm honestly not sure the mode would be where it's at today, because people would have very quickly started up the game, quickly got to the box, and then I feel like the experience of it would have been over a lot quicker. Whereas back then, it kind of got people hooked. It started the ball rolling a little bit more slowly, especially when people were first learning the game. But yeah, going back and playing it now, it does feel relatively slow. But at least you got all the cool little red barrels to shoot as you're going around. But yeah, the Noctur and Toten spawn rate is something that now is not great, but I think at the time it was kind of perfect for what it was doing to introduce the series.
Varrocked would have been better if it had some sort of wonder weapon. It doesn't have to be something crazy or OP, just give me something to make going through the rounds on this map slightly more bearable. Shinonuma came out one map before the Pack-a-Punch was invented. I genuinely think that if you throw a Pack-a-Punch machine somewhere on this map, I might even prefer it to Derice.
Yeah, when Derice came out, I kind of wish they would have gone back and gave perks to all the maps and Pack-a-Punch to all the maps. Like, I really do think that should have been the case, and potentially even the Wonder Waffle. If the map didn't have the Wonder Waffle, they should have done that. In Black Ops 1, I say this all the time, Mule Kick was retroactively added to every map. I don't know why Mule Kick was the one exception. There was one thing in COD history that they made, and they're like, this needs to be on every previous map. It is so good. It is so powerful. Everyone's gonna love this. So when this update comes out, this has to go on every map, and it was Mule Kick. So Mule Kick came out for Moon, and it was just like, boom, Mule Kick on Noctur and Toten, Kino and Toten, 5. There was no perks on Noctur and Toten. Doesn't matter. Put it on there anyway. And they just slapped a Mule Kick on every single map in Black Ops 1. But in World at War, when we got probably the most, revolutionary feature in the entire game, the Pack-a-Punch, that wasn't good enough to bring back to the previous maps. That wasn't good enough. Even in Black Ops 1, when they remade the maps, that wasn't good enough to bring back and put on Noctur and Toten, Varrocked, all Shinonuma, all those maps. But Mule Kick, yes, that is so revolutionary. That needs to be on Noctur and Toten. That needs to be on Varrocked. And it's just, so now you can play Noctur and Toten officially and have one perk, and that one perk is Mule Kick. So I really wish they would have done this back then. Even if it was done in the future, you gotta understand, these maps have been remade before. If Shinonuma, the Black Ops 3 version, had a Pack-a-Punch, that would have made it so much better. The fact that you can Pack-a-Punch weapons on that map with a gobblegum that you've got to pay for is kind of insulting, because it's like, if you're a free-to-play player, you just don't get access to the Pack-a-Punch. But I feel like when they remastered these maps, it was a missed opportunity not to include perks, Pack-a-Punch, and I think they did put the Wonder Weapons with Zombie Chronicles. There's Wonder Weapons on all of them, but They should have got Pack-a-Punch. Because, I mean, I know a lot of people would complain like, oh, wow, the original map didn't have Pack-a-Punch. I want to play the original version. I was just playing World at War a couple hours ago, making a video. Like, you can still play World at War. You can play the version without Pack-a-Punch. That version is never going to go away. But when they make the newer, updated versions, I feel like they should add the newer features to these old original maps. Because Varrock would be a little bit more fun with some sort of wonder weapon. And same thing. What he's saying here, Shino would have been better with a Pack-a-Punch.
Darius is a hard one for me because it added a lot and honestly doesn't have that many obvious flaws. The only thing I could think of is maybe it would have been a good time to start experimenting with new perks, but even that is a little bit of a stretch.
Yeah, I would say that's a stretch because one, they added teleporters, they added Pack-a-Punch, they added enough new stuff to Darius, and if I'm trying to think of anything that Darius, was kind of like an oversight that they could have done, bro, I can't even think about it. Oh, here's the one thing I would change about Darius. Darius, there is an Easter egg. The first ever Easter egg in Call of Duty history is on Darius. It is the fly trap. The biggest issue with the fly trap is there is no reward. You get a one-time achievement. You don't get anything, even if it just gave you a double points. If it gave you some reward, that to me is the best thing it could have changed, because a lot of people did the fly trap once and never did it again. But you know how cool it would have been if every lobby people were doing this to get maybe a free max ammo? And that way you could get one free max ammo for doing the fly trap. And it wasn't hard, but a one-time free max ammo isn't going to be that big. So that is the one thing I would have changed about Darius, is made some sort of reward for the fly trap. Because it's lame that the first time we ever got an Easter egg in COD history, there's an achievement. And on PC, there's not even achievements. You legitimately get nothing.
If you didn't know, Mule Kick wasn't originally on Kino der Toten. They added it later during the Resurrection DLC. How about instead of Mule Kick, we trade it for something better like Stamina? 5 would have been better.
Pretty much what we were saying earlier. Yeah.
5 would have been better if there was a slightly better training area somewhere. Maybe move a few of the desks in the spawn area.
See, and I wouldn't agree with this. Like, I feel like there should be different types of maps, because that's the thing. Why the zombies community is so divided is people like different things. And some people like maps with no training spots that are very, very difficult, like Varrock, like 5, and other people like maps like Kino, where the entire map is a bunch of different training areas. And I think that adding kind of training areas to 5 would break that. And I'm not saying that all maps should be like this. I'm thinking there should be certain zombie maps that are very tight, no training areas for people who want that. Then there should be other maps like Kino. And see, that was the perfect balance on Black Ops 1, because when Black Ops 1 launched, they did that perfectly. They had 5 and they had Kino. If you want a nice, easy training experience, Kino was there for that. But if sometimes you just wanted a quick, like really hard, no training game, 5 was also there for you. And that, I think, was almost done intentionally on Black Ops 1 to have both like the yin and yang. One that's more difficult and one that's more easy. I would have removed the Pentagon Thief. That to me was a little over the top. This map already has like no training areas. Then you got the Pentagon Thief that's going to come and steal your weapon. Maybe instead of stealing your weapon, he just like take points away from you or something, or maybe a perk. I feel like a perk would be less detrimental than taking your Pack-a-Punch weapon. He should have been like the Moon.
Or in the war room to make for a more player-friendly experience. Ascension has the exact opposite problem as 5. There's just too many areas on Ascension that make it so easy to run trains and make playing zombies the easiest thing in the world. Maybe add a few obstacles here or there in some of the more open areas, because you're already very OP with a thunder gun and Gersh device. I just need a little bit more of a challenge.
Yeah, and see, that goes back to the last argument. I like different types of maps. I like maps that are very hard, and I like Ascension, because Ascension was that map if it's just like, you know what, I just want to chill and train and talk to stream for a couple hours, or I gotta, do this or that. I'm just gonna sit here and train on Ascension. I kind of like how open Ascension is.
I genuinely think that Call of the Dead would have been one of the best maps of all time if the scavenger did infinite damage, and if there was some sort of trap somewhere on the map.
Yeah.
Honestly, this is probably...
That's the, like, Call of the Dead is my favorite map of all time, but the biggest issue with it is PhD is kind of what you have to do on higher rounds. The scavenger, it just doesn't do a ton of damage. It's my favorite wonder weapon of all time, but it is one of the quickest falling off wonder weapons ever. And on top of that, there's no traps on the map, so there should have been one or the other. Scavenger should have done more damage, or there should have been some sort of trap. It's just weird that you couldn't do any of those things.
Probably the number one thing I change out of everything in this video. Shangri-La combines the tight corridors of 5 with a fantastically OP wonder weapon, striking the perfect balance between maps like 5 and Ascension. There's one thing I'd change about it though. It is making it so it requires a little bit less team coordination to get the pack-a-punch going. There's honestly...
Yeah, pack-a-punch on co-op for Shangri-La is so annoying. It's not a big deal in solo, but oh my. Shangri-La, a public lobby Shangri-La is probably one of the worst experiences ever. I don't know. I might have to make a list of the top 5 worst public lobby matches, but Shangri-La would be close to the top of the list just for the stupid pack-a-punch.
Probably like 20 things I change about the map Moon. But if I had to pick one, it would be just put Speed Cola and Jug on the actual Moon rather than at Area 51. Transit's another one of those maps that has a million things wrong with it. At the very top of my list is that there has to be an easier pack-a-punch system. Maybe if as soon as you place your turbine in the power room...
Dude, picking one thing to change about Transit might be the hardest thing ever. The first thing that comes to mind is the fog, or honestly just a teleporting system. Like, I know what he's saying about the pack-a-punch system, but to me, getting across the map is just so boring. So boring, like going around the map, waiting for the bus, or just going through the fog. If there was some teleporter system that allowed you to teleport directly from one to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, really simply, really easily, it would have fixed most of the issues. Because, yeah, pack-a-punch would have still been annoying, but if you could have got the generator, then teleported there very, very quickly, I mean, the pack-a-punch thing would have been less of an issue. But, dude, Transit... Picking one thing to change about Transit is not easy.
Room for the first time, you could immediately pick it back up, and from that point on, Pack-a-Punch stays open for the rest of the game. I remember when Die Rise came out, people hypothesized that there would be some way to stop the elevator to get PhD flopping. If this was an actual Easter egg, it would accomplish 2 things. 1, it would give the player more to do on this otherwise boring map, and 2, it would give the player one of the most valuable perks on a map so focused on verticality.
The dumbest thing ever, the fact that you can't get PhD, and they even trolled it. Like, I don't know why they were just so insistent on never bringing PhD back. Like, it was just like, yeah, I know this is fan favorite perk and we're gonna tease it, but Mule Kick stayed around. Mule Kick is still in the game, still kicking at this point in time.
If I didn't have to go around the map to collect all 5 gas canisters every single time I wanted to head to the pack-a-punch.
This is super unpopular opinion. Like, I like Mob of the Dead, but I hate playing it. Legitimately, I hate playing it. The Pack-a-Punch, the way the Pack-a-Punch system works in Mob of the Dead is hands down one of the most annoying things ever. Like, every time you want to go to the bridge, going around the map, collecting the gas canisters, and that's one of the biggest things that I like about Blood of the Dead that did so much better than Mob of the Dead, is the fact that Pack-a-Punch is just not anywhere near as annoying. And I get it. I don't mind collecting the parts the first time, but having to get all 5 canisters every single time you want to Pack-a-Punch, honestly, it takes Mob of the Dead out of the top 10 maps of all time for me. It would be in the top 10 of all time, probably the top 5 of all time, but the whole Pack-a-Punch system drops it out of the top 5, out of the top 10, maybe a top 15 map for me now, because it's just not fun to continuously go gather all 5 of the things every single time.
Wanted to head to the Pack-a-Punch machine on Mob of the Dead, the world would be a better place. Buried would be better if the Paralyzer wasn't so overpowered. There, I said it.
See, the Paralyzer is overpowered, but I feel like, doesn't it stop working around like 110 anyway? Like, out of all of the wonder weapons on Black Ops 2, the Paralyzer starts off as one of the best, but it drops off more quickly. Like, the Ice Staff, I think, works longer than what the Paralyzer does. Same thing, the Solidifier, and what else? All the other ones. The Jet Gun, I guess, works indefinitely, but yeah, it's still better than Jet Gun. Paralyzer is just fun. I like the fact that it lets you traverse around the map, but Buried isn't as easy of a map as what I think everyone makes it out to be. Like, Buried's easy, but I feel like I could get a higher round on Origins or Die Rise using the Ice Staff or the Solidifier. Buried, I think I get to a quicker round more easy, but once I got to the 100 plus, maybe I'm using the wrong strats. I don't high round a bunch, but for me personally, going past 100, Buried was harder than Origins and Die Rise in that capacity.
On the map Origins, I would like to rework how the Crazy Place teleportation system works. I'm thinking of, rather than needing to lug around the gramophone wherever you go, you only need to place it down once. From that point on, the teleportation system would work exactly the same as it does on Shadows of Evil.
That would have been a good change. The one thing, I hate the generators. That to me is the worst part about Origins, is the stupid generators. Going around And then the thing, they can be attacked later, and you've constantly got to go and like defend the generators. But the teleportation one's also
flawless, with one exception. Simply remove the very last step of the Easter egg, and you got yourself a perfect.
Nah, for me, I changed a lot about Shadows. Like, the thing is, Shadows looks amazing, but dude, once again, opening up Pack-a-Punch is so slow and so boring. Like, that's just the thing. Doing, like, maybe if they made the rituals kill-based instead of time-based, but the fact that you got 3 rituals you got to do before you can turn on power, and you got to do all 3 of these rituals, and it doesn't matter how good you are, it doesn't matter how many zombies you kill, there is a time limit. You, like, to me, one of the worst things about a zombies map is any forced time limit where no matter what, you've got to wait this amount of time. And without that, I think Shadows of Evil would be in the top 5, but honestly, Shadows of Evil, because of the way Pack-a-Punch works, is one of my least favorite maps of all time. Like, it would be bottom 10
map. The Giant would have been better, in my opinion, if it built upon the original Derice just a little bit. Maybe an extra room or 2, or a couple extra side Easter eggs, and you got yourself a great cap.
For me, my biggest complaint about freaking Derice, and this to me, I don't know why, this is mind-boggling. So they have 2 different perks on Derice, and depending on when you load in, you're either going to get stamina up or you're going to get dead shot, and you don't get a choice. There's the Easter egg you do to open up the little area there, and when you open it up, you've got a 50-50 chance of getting either perk, and depending on which one you get, like, you're stuck with that for the rest of the game, and you don't know when the game starts. And if you're a PC player, dead shot's useless. Like, it doesn't do anything. Whereas stamina up is extremely helpful, and the fact that you had a 50-50 chance of having easier time on high rounds are something that's not going to help you at all. And once you like, so you set the whole map up, you open the secret thing, and all of a sudden you see Deadshot. It's like, well, that was a waste. Let's restart and hope we get stamina up next time. Like, I don't mind them adding the perk there, but there should be at least one way to choose which perk you're gonna get, or at least let you know when the game starts. When you load the game, let you see what it is. So if it's like, okay, it's Deadshot, let me reload the game. I feel like both should have been on the map in 2 different areas, and you should have been able to do an Easter egg for either one of them. Not a 50-50 chance after you've done multiple steps to get one of the perks. That, to me, was so annoying about the Giant.
Casual zombies map. For Eisendrache, let's just remove the second wisp step. It's not fun to do once, let alone twice, so let's just get rid of it.
I don't mind the wisp step. To me, filling up the dragons. I do not like filling up the dragons for the bow. That's my least favorite part about Eisendrache. Once again, it's time gated, because you'll kill a zombie, and then you have to wait for it to consume the zombie. And for me, it makes the starting round so slow, because I like to be efficient about it. So I'll hoard up the zombies, I'll take them to a dragon, I'll kill one zombie, I'll let him eat it, and then I'll wait a few seconds. All right, he's ready again. And just that whole process really slows down the gameplay for Eisendrache for me. It makes it kind of boring.
Entirely. Zetsubou no Shima needs an entire rework of the plant system, because literally nobody wants to remember to water a plant every single round. The Valkyrie.
Honestly, the only way to fix Zetsubou is just remove it. That's the one zombies map that just shouldn't exist. Like, just delete it. Like, that one can't be fixed.
Drones on Garad Krovi never quite felt at home, and plus they're just very annoying. Let's just replace them with the classic Hellhound. Revelation.
I don't think I played enough Garad Krovi to really have any changes for it. I played Garad Krovi a handful of times.
Would probably be better if the Thunder Gun was never on the map. It's just entirely too easy with all the different wonder weapons. Zombies Chronicles.
See, once again, I don't mind easy maps. I feel like some maps should be easy, some should be hard. And Revelations was I feel like Revelations was perfect to come at the end of Cold War's life cycle, because people were grinding levels in that, and Revelations was just a grinding map. If you were still grinding out challenges or XP, Revelations was perfect for that.
Chronicles was a lot of fun when it first came out, but I don't find myself coming back to play these versions of the maps very often, with the exception of Origins. Maybe it's wishful thinking, but if there was some sort of main Easter egg that spans it across all the Chronicles maps, this DLC would have been absolutely
would have been insane.
I'd rather the tigers on the map 9 to have never existed.
So when it comes to Zombie Chronicles, to me, the biggest fail with it is the fact that, like, essentially, if you want to pack-a-punch your weapons, you have to have premium gobblegums. Like, the only way to get, like, decent runs on those games are to pay money, unless you just got a ton of gobblegums saved up, because there's no way to legitimately pack-a-punch on those maps unless you use gobblegums. Same thing. Only way to get perks on those maps. So that, to me, was what I would have definitely changed. I would have made some way to pack your weapon, some way to get all the perks, or disable the gobblegums that allow you to get it. Because making it the only way to pack-a-punch your weapon is with a paid feature was not like that. It was kind of scummy. It was, I'll say it. It was kind of scummy to do that.
Voyage of Despair, along with a lot of the Black Ops 4 maps.
And then we missed out on 9. Honestly, dude, I don't know what I'd change about 9. I really like 9.
Struggles with the mini boss fight problem. There's just too many of them. Just remove the elementals, and I think you got yourself a better zombies map. Let's make it so on Blood of the Dead, you don't need to rely on your shield to do every single last Easter egg step. I don't think I'll ever be able to understand what the obsession was with using your shield to do literally everything on this map. It's not a good gameplay mechanic. I'm someone who actually likes the idea of the round 150 classified Easter egg. 150 might be a little bit too high though. Maybe 100 would have been a better.
I don't get this. It should have been 115. How did no one pick 115? It's like, all right, we're going to have a high round Easter egg. What should we set it to? 100? No. 120? No. 150? Like, this was the perfect opportunity to make a round at 115 be the Easter egg. And the time difference between round 115 to 150 is massive. That would have saved so much time. I think it took me 2 8-hour-long streams when I did my Easter egg attempt, which I don't mind doing that, but it's just like round 115 would have just made a lot more sense, and I feel like would have saved a lot of people a lot of headache, and it would have been more, you know, like it would have been a nice touch.
Their number. The insane amount of crashes on Black Ops 4
and part of it was crashes
definitely didn't help Classified's case, but the entire start of Black Ops 4 can pretty much be summarized by just having a better launch. Can we please make the characters on Dead of the Night just a little bit less repulsive? For Ancient Evil, I'd like to lower the health of the Giganese and reduce the skeleton spawn.
For me, Ancient Evil, building the wonder weapons on that map's just too tedious. Like I don't end up playing this map because it's like the amount of things you got to do to fully upgrade any one of the wonder weapons is just like, by the time I've got the wonder weapons and I've got them upgraded, the gauntlets, I'm just like, all right, I'm ready for my next map. I've invested too much time into this already.
Right. Other than that, we're good to go. Maybe I'm on my own with this one, but on Alpha Omega, I'd much rather have an actual wonder weapon than Mark II variants. Tagger Toten, same thing. Give me new wonder weapons rather than worse versions of
the wonder, like, okay, I won't agree with the Mark IIs. I kind of like the different versions of the Mark II, but Alpha Omega, the Wonder Waffle, like, what? I didn't get that one at all.
The classics. D Machine's fatal flaw is the Orlov cutscenes. They are, put plain and simply, just bad. And
to me, the biggest issue with D Machina is the fact that it only had one armor stand. Every single map after D Machina, they fixed this issue. Firebase C had like 4 or 5. Malware Toten had 4 or 5. They had armor stands all over the place. D Machina only having the one armor stand underneath, and every time you wanted to do anything to get armor, because that's a vital part of Cold War, having to go all the way underneath the map to be able to get armor and then go back wherever you were playing at. That was the biggest flaw for D Machina. I wish they would have gone back and updated and added more armor stands, because they clearly realized it was an issue. Every map after that had like at least 5, and that was the only one with a single armor stand.
And honestly make me feel like I'm playing a small indie game. I don't know what went wrong here, but I'd honestly rather them just not exist. My problem with Firebase Z can be summarized with one word: mimics. Let's completely rework the mimic Easter egg step, and while we're at it, let's just reduce the mimic spawn rate in general.
I don't mind the mimics at all. My biggest issue with Firebase Z are the defend rounds. The defend rounds were so fun. Like, it was fun the first 2 games. The first 2 games is like, oh, defend round, this is cool and quirky. By the time you're in your 3rd game, it's like, okay, can we get this defend round over with? I'm kind of working on something else here. So Firebase Z would have been a better map without defend rounds, 100%.
I wish the Cerberus variants on Malware Toten were actually worth using. When you play for
that is a huge gripe for Malware Toten, because it has this wonder weapon and it's got all these cool variants and it works in a unique way we've never seen before, but they're all useless. Like, the only one that's even good is the shotgun one. The laser one's garbage. Or not the shotgun one. The shotgun one's really bad, but the grenade launcher one is really fun, and I was super hyped for this wonder weapon, and it's cool, but the base version probably shouldn't be the best one.
Forsaken, you feel like you're playing Teleporter Simulator. I don't know, maybe reduce the amount of teleporters by designing a map that has a layout that actually works.
Forsaken's layout's a little confusing. Like, I will agree with that, but once you, even once you learn the middle area, Forsaken is, there's a few kind of layout changes that should have been a little bit better.
For Vanguard, I actually made a video of 22 things wrong with Vanguard.
So what would we change? If you could only change one thing about Vanguard zombies, what would you change? I would add a pause feature. That is what I would do. That is the biggest issue with Vanguard zombies right now, is the fact that you can't even freaking pause it. The most basic of things. So yeah, that right there was one thing that I didn't like about every single zombies map, and one thing I would change. Same thing about Chrysim. Make sure you guys go in the description, check out his channel. No joke, this man will be at 100K by the end of the year, and you want to be able to claim your I was here before 100K ticket. So go in the description, click the sub button, hit the bell. He posts a lot of freaking awesome content. And once again, if you're watching this, thank you so much for allowing me to react to your content, because very, very interesting stuff. With that, boys, I'm gonna wrap this one up here. If you want to see more content like this, you can also sub to my channel. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace. Oh, hey there. Thank you for watching the entire video. I've got to take this last moment here to give a huge thanks to everyone who became a Twitch sub or a YouTube member, and an extra special thanks to those who have taken above and beyond and became an Unlocked Plus member on YouTube. We've got the 2x Trader Purple. We've got the most OP Gobblegum ever, Round Robin. We have the hero Arrow Pharaoh, and then we've got the absolute legend Peyton Perkins. Once again, got to get a huge thanks to all of them for becoming Unlocked Plus members here on YouTube.